Hello, and Assalamualaikum. I am super excited to have you here. Excited about the conversation we get to have today. And that's exactly what this is all about, a conversation, not a monologue. It is a dialogue. This is me coming here to speak to your heart. So this is our group member, me, Norfatini Fawadia binti Ghaffar,
Siti Nur Fatihah binti Anwar Zuki,
Nur Anis Adawiyah binti Zaman,
Nuraina Husna binti Zulkifli Ahmad. Part A, Question 1. Differentiate the Islamic worldview and the conventional worldview of accounting.
The Islamic worldview has well spelled out objectives known as maqasid al-Sharia. They are meant to promote the welfare of the entire mankind and enjoin believers in the safeguarding of their faith, their human self, their intellect, their posterity, and their wealth. Furthermore, in dealing with this, Islam has encouraged cooperation to achieve, mashallah, benefit in everyday communal life. 2. For the conventional worldview of accounting is the traditional Western.
For the conventional worldview of accounting is the traditional Western double entry-based accounting technology is well suited to an orthodox, positivist society of any kind. It is not surprising that it is proving inadequate, as the people are returning to more integrated worldview, whether it is Islamic or otherwise. The difference between the Islamic worldview and the conventional worldview of accounting for the purpose is Islamic accounting aims at enabling a user to ensure whether entities abide by Islamic ethics and principle, but the conventional accounting is to facilitate informed decision for the resources allocation. For the basis to the Islamic is unity of God. The Islamic worldview is grounded in Allah, God, Muhammad, the ultimate and the final prophet of Allah, and the Quran, the word of Allah delivered to Muhammad beginning about 610 AD. Islam means submission to Allah, and a Muslim is one that submitted to Allah. About 1/5 of the world population is Muslim, and 3/4 of which are non-Arab. For the conventional economic rationality, nature to Islamic is religious. In Islam, accounting is not only a business activity but also a religious obligation, as it is emphasized in the Quran. The main source for guardians of Islamic belief is to disclose a full range of information for facilitating informed decision making. For the conventional is secular. It is conceptualized based on principle of secularism and capitalism. For the profit to Islamic is reasonable profit. Islamic accounting and reporting envisage the consideration of reasonable profit and relative ownership. For the conventional is profit maximization. Conventional accounting premise is position in the context of an individualistic framework and the profit maximization principle. Disclosure to Islamic is full disclosure, where the Islamic accounting practice derived from the Quranic tenets aims to provide full disclosure, focusing on the community who participate in exploiting resources, imposing social justice. For the conventional limited disclosure, where conventional accounting practice are based on the provision of information pertaining to public interest and limited disclosure imposing financially immaterial information together with focusing on the individual or entities controlling the resources.
The accountability for the Islamic is public accountability, who are focused on the community who participate in exploiting resources, and also means that people must accept all the duties and the liability as well as the benefit of any ownership and responsibility. But for the conventional is personal accountability, where a focus is on individual who control resources, and it is also mean each person is responsible for his own deeds.
The governance to Islamic is the accounting system in Islamic society is based upon ethical law originating in the Quran, Islamic law or As-Sunnah, along with the necessary principle and postulates which are not in conflict with Islamic law. But for the conventional, it is governed by accounting and based on open modern commercial law permissive rather than ethical.
Part A, Question 2A. What is a code of ethics?
What is a code of ethics? A code of ethics is a set of rules intended to assist professionals in conducting business in an honest and integrity. The goal and objective of the business or organization may be outlined in code of ethics document, as well as how professionals are expected to handle challenges, ethical principles based on the firm's fundamental values, and the standard to which professional is held.
A code of ethics, also often known as ethical code, can cover topics including corporate ethics, professional practice code, and employee behavior code. The way ethical standard guide a company activity is referred to business ethics. Employer-employee relation, discrimination, environmental concerns, bribery, insider trading, and social responsibility are all topics that fall under the banner of business ethics.
Part A, Question 2B. Distinguish between IOV Code of Ethics and MIA Code of Ethics.
The first one is from MIA. Confidentiality is to respect the confidentiality of information acquired as result of professional and business relationship. Why IOV has trustworthiness? A professional accountant should be able to present and discuss both of financial and non-financial information honestly and trustfully. They also should fulfill the duties, power, and responsibility to associate with one role, rank, position, and status, including safeguarding the resources given in one's common as trust.
Second, integrity in MIA. Integrity is to be straightforward and honest in all professional and business relationships. Why? Integrity in IOV is Siddiq. Siddiq is to achieve consistency and persistence in, as well as harmony between belief, intention, word, action, while upholding and promoting trust.
Next, professional behavior in MIA is to comply with relevant law and regulation, behave in manner consistent with profession, responsibility to act in public, interest in all professional activities and business relationship, and avoid any conduct in the professional accountant know or should know might discredit the profession. Why in IOV is taqwa or Allah consciousness. Consciousness and remembrance of Allah Almighty shows that it results in His obedience, and in an event of obedience, immediate repentance. Besides that, professional competence and due care for MIA requires the professional accountant to have professional knowledge and skill at the level required to ensure the provision of competent professional service and to act diligently in accordance with applicable standard, law and regulation. For example, the accountant complies with the principal professional competence. For IOV, strength, to have and continue basis the intellectual, physiological, and physical power, capacity, and capability at level required for the fulfillment of a responsibility or execution of a task. Last but not least, objectivity MIA requires the professional accountant to exercise professional or business judgment without being compromised by bias, conflict of interest, or undue influence of or undue reliance on individuals, organization, technology, or other factors. In IOV, we have tawasi bil haq or exerting trust. Encourage others to do good and avoid evil in a knowledgeable, positive, and prudent manner through the use of reasoning, influence, and authority.
Part B, Question 3a. In what way can the Islamic concept of pity assist the accountant to become ethical? Did you know what is pity? In Islam, pity can be defined as taqwa. Pity is that which contains the soul and comforts the heart, and sin is that which causes doubt and perturbs the heart. Even if people pronounce it lawful and give you verdicts on such matters again and again. It's also the hidden and public fear of Allah. The path that leads to pity assisting accountant is to prevent the accounting themselves from unpleasant repercussion as a result of deviation from Sharia commitment, especially in the domain of money, which is their law. Following that, pity will help the accountant realize the importance of obeying Allah's instruction and avoiding His prohibition. In Al-Quran said that you who have believed fear Allah as He should be feared and die only as Muslim and Allah. And Allah also said, and whoever fear Allah, He will find a way out for him. Then, when they are doing their job, pity will cause them to incorporate Islamic values from the requirement and principle of Islamic law, which is Sharia. Such Allah said in Al-Quran, all Muslim action should be for Allah alone. This will lead to the accountant of person putting their trust in Allah. It's proved by in the Al-Quran said that Allah will indeed achieve His goal. Allah has already set a limit for everything. Others Islamic concept of pity assist the accountant are developing moral commitment to the religion. Accounting practice will be influenced by the behavior of accountants to present and communicate the financial report to the others. The cooperation of the religious to influence the moral sympathy for others is highly adhered by accountants in order to produce high quality and confidentially financial information. The principle of integrity, resurgency, sincerity, pity, returnness, Allah-fearing and accountability before Allah are the examples that will serve to guide the accounting practice. Thus, it is the starting point for accountants to bring the Islamic concept as a dominant element in all worldly activities. Islam is very clear in differentiate between belief and faith, as well as submission in service, which is Islam. It is both essence of the heart, qalb, and mind, akal, confirmed by the tongue, lisan, as well as deed and word, which is amal. All of this should be in a harmonious relationship between the soul and body, which do not only believe in the heart but also should be did directly by behaving a good act. This will also automatically show the ethics that accounting professionals are needed to follow in order to comply with the rules and regulations that govern their domains and bodies of work. To conclude, pity will aid accounting in becoming more ethical, allowing them to be more frequent origins of professional validity and human foundation such as trust, objectivity, professional competence, and job perfection. Part B. Question 3b. What are the rules of ethical conduct based on the Islamic principle of trustworthiness? Do you think these ethical rules are sufficient to discipline accountants?
I will present about the ethical principle trustworthiness. Okay, based on Islamic management, trustworthiness refers to know not fear of Allah, no longer using Allah ayah to their very own advantage, and no fear of mankind. The accountant need to uphold Allah's Sharia based totally on what has been ordered by using Him, uphold justice among human beings with non-racial prejudice, and be sensitive to the trouble confronted by their subject. Okay, the rule of ethical conduct based on trustworthiness is: first, present and communicate relevant financial and non-financial information honestly, truthfully, and with adequate transparency. Okay, this means when an accounting report be transparent to investor, can easily understand and company financial detail. Okay, contemporary investor expect to see exactly how the company manage its holding earning, and that with just a few clicks. Okay, the second rule is refrain from disclosing confidential information unless required by the relevant accounting standard. Okay, for this will make the internal auditor to keep the information that they obtain from client during their audit confidential. For example, the information should not hand to people that are not authorized to access it. Okay, next is number 3. The third rule is refrain from using confidential information for an unethical advantage. Okay, this means we must keep information confidential except when disclosure is authorized or legally required. We also have to inform all relevant parties regarding appropriate use of confidential information, monitor subordinate activity to ensure compliance. Okay, last but not least, the rule is refrain from any action or behavior that may jeopardize the institution's religious and ethical objectives. Okay, as such, the company respect the obligations of confident company employees may have from prior employment, and ask that employees not reveal confidential information obtained in the course of their prior. Next, the answer for the question is, I think these ethical rules are sufficient to discipline accountant because as we all know, trustworthiness, which is the amanah, is one of the characteristics which are related to the ethic. The Muslim accountant are the trustees of financial reporting of an organization. Some they are the trustees. They may be characterized by trustworthiness, which is a manifestation of a deep faith in Islam. Okay, this was clearly shown in Al-Quran that Allah has signed out the status of strength and trustworthiness to whom is higher toward in Surah Al-Qasas. Okay, we also know that accountant is a profession of trustee of stakeholder of an institution. Therefore, accountants should follow a superior ethical code for professional guidance. Indeed, amanah play a vital role resolving the ethical problem among accountants. It clearly shows that these ethical rules are sufficient to discipline an accountant. This shows that Islam is a comprehensive way of life, which means for the whole humanity, anybody with faith and a sense of accountability can be guided by amanah. When the ethical rules are applied, they will look to Islam as a shepherd which requires from their followers and believers to be trustworthiness with Allah first and with themselves, and finally with their community. Consequently, the Muslim accountant should characterized by honest to satisfy Allah first, then stakeholder of Islamic banks.